Man.
It came back in 7-3, and then they were down 8-7.
So I watched that part of it, then got to 7-6, right?
Yeah.
And then that turned over to the next inning, and then
They tied at 7-7, then they went down 8-7, they tied at 8-8, and won at 9-8. Heck of a game. Four out of 10.
Did you grow to like them in college? I mean, you already liked George Brett.
yeah, so that's what that stems from, and then being around Kansas City, and it was a long time coming.
Much of signing Channing Frye was about more than just Channing. What he can do for your other guys, like the trickle-down effect that he could have on the four not doubling Vooch and creating more room for Victor and Tobias more room in the middle of the floor.
I think overall, when we looked at people we want to acquire and bring in, how were they going to, help the core of guys that we had be productive, and spacing was an issue for us, and the ability to shoot the basketball is a premium in this league, and he's a guy that is unique because he does it at a big position, and it's just unnatural sometimes for the movement of guys to guard him on the perimeter, and so the thought process was, will that have a chance to make driving lanes a little bit more open for our guys, and be able to get into the paint and create driving kick situations, and it made sense for us.
I know a lot of the metrics are proprietary, but I mean, you could see last year in Phoenix, when he was on the floor, they were this good, and when he was off the floor, it was different. Did you guys study that and take that into consideration?
I think we looked at the productivity when he was on the floor with the guys around him, and the difference when he wasn't, and significant difference of his ability to allow space on the floor, and his old team that had guards who could get into the paint and make plays, and hopefully our guys will be able to do the same.
Jacque, when you met with Victor at the end of last season, what were some of the areas that you and Rob directed him to attempt to get better at in the offseason?
The biggest challenge is being consistent with his play on both ends of the floor. It's a natural tendency for guys because the highlights are produced on the offensive end of the floor. One of the reasons we drafted him because he could guard multiple positions. So the challenge of living that life on a daily basis and playing both ends of the floor.
Can you detect that he's more vocal? Is it too early to say?
He's a very jovial guy just by nature, so he probably was the first guy I heard from when we gathered together as a team yesterday. But that's just a part of him. I don't think we've come to any conclusions of him being, just more, if you want to say, quote unquote, being a leader vocally. We haven't addressed that part of it yet going forward.
When you talk to him, first thing out of his mouth is he says he wants to be a better decision maker. When you go in an off season, you say, I want to be in better shape, I want to be a better shooter. You can physically work on those things. How do you work on being a better decision maker? Is it watching film, studying situations?
I think it's understanding the situations that can come about, and that's through watching film, that's through watching other games, of him understanding what an outlet might look like on a particular play. And for him, it was able to be drilled in him a little bit over the off season, what a blitz pick and roll looks like and what my options are. And nothing like doing it in the game, but he was able to do that in the off season and practice that in the off season.
You and him had a lot of skull sessions after practices, after games, stuff like that last year, right? You wanted to talk to him personally and get your message across with him?
I think it's, for me, it's conducive to having a great relationship. And that's a part of consistent play, is being able to handle criticism and not have resentment, being able to have accountability, and being able to be reliable, not only to me, but to your teammates.
John, what do you think Ben Gordon brings? Last couple seasons in Charlotte probably didn't go the way you wanted them to. What did you guys see that convinced you to bring him on the team?
Well, he's a guy that's proven he can shoot the basketball. You go through yesterday's practice, he makes 2 threes in a row for us in practice, and one is with a guy, running by and at him extremely hard. So his ability to shoot the basketball hasn't left him. You know, everyone's at different phases of their life, and you want to bring people around who appreciate where they are and what they can contribute. And we felt like Ben was at a stage where he really wanted to dedicate himself to the game.
Shannon said he had 8 teams calling him, 8 to 10 teams, some of them, you know, at the top of the ladder, gunning for the playoffs. But when you and Rob went out there, you really sold him on the vision. Like after talking to you, he said he was ready to sign that day. What was it about your message you think that won him over? What did you try to convey to him?
I'm always pretty as honest as I can be with a guy, and how we envision him being with our roster, how I envision him growing with us, his impact on the team in the locker room, what his role would be, and how he fit into our style of play. And overall, it was a good thing that he accepted that and saw himself fitting in.
How did day 1 go?
Good day 1, no one's injured, so that's the most important thing. Everyone's hydrated and ready to go for number 2.
What are your plans for today?
We'll go twice today. There'll be no contact in this first session, and second, we'll go up and down tonight. I'll comply with the rules of the Players Association. I'm compliant.
No one.
Did you do much scrimmaging last night?
We went up and down for probably a 10 minutes little segment, but and that was just to see the guys go up and down, how they ran, but nothing very extraneous. More teaching yesterday than anything.
What did you see from the rookies?
They played hard. I'll give them that. You know, a lot was thrown at them. You know, concepts that they haven't fathomed. Because in off season, I let guys work on their game. I'm not trying to put too much on their brain as far as concepts and terminology, but a lot was thrown at them that way. And overall, they did a good job with it.
Everyone good?
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.